Video games are more accessible than ever before and have lowered the bar to entry significantly so that players of varying skill levels can pick up a game. There are so many different titles and genres to choose from. Platforming games, role-playing games, deck-building games, puzzle games, horror games, fighting games, party games, games where you don't even have to play the game.
Would you consider having a relationship with an android that looks like a human?
No? Maybe. But why is it that every time a remotely challenging game hits the market, almost always a Souls game, the internet turns into a total shitscape of articles and videos crying about either including easy modes or alternatively telling people to get better at the game? It was the same story for the Dark Souls trilogy, for Cuphead, for Bloodborne, for Hollow Knight, for Monster Hunter, for Sekiro, for Sifu, and now Elden Ring. What's funny is that if I take you to games from 30 odd years ago, they were never as inclusive as they are now. Do you remember picking up an old 2D platformer and actually being able to finish it? Lion King, Elephant's Graveyard, the hyenas were total bullshit! You fought one of them as the final boss for the first stage, and now you're fighting two of them at the same time as regular bad guys. No real wind-up attack animation, no proper trajectory of attack. It's just fuck you, Simba, go back to level 1. Now, pick up a modern-day challenging platformer like Hollow Knight. The attack animations are all so well telegraphed that you can't really accuse the game itself of being bullshit. Sure, it does take a bit of time recognizing attack patterns, but once you've got the muscle memory down, a lot of bosses aren't as bad anymore. Except Great Prince Zord, it just... Take Mega Man X. One of my favorite streamers was playing this game for the first time, and he decided to go up against someone I struggled against as a kid, Boomer Koanger. The kicker is that this boss sucks mongo dick because I had no idea what he was doing. Where is he teleporting? Why is he spazzing out? How is Mr. Streamer going to land to get a single shot on this guy?
Wait, what?! How did I get one shot?
Devil May Cry 3 is another game that I never really managed to beat. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite had me struggling for months against the Tigrex Urgent Quest. But if you look at DMC 5 and Monster Hunter World in comparison, it's just not as difficult. Capcom did away with having to be literally perfect in a boss fight because they probably realized the player just wanted to have fun. Random enemy spawns, getting hit off a ledge and dying, massive hitboxes, the era of horse shit deaths is long gone. And while some of today's games do have that massive spike in difficulty, you can definitely overcome it through what I like to call... Normally, the argument for sinking too much time into a video game goes something like,
when I come home from school, college, or work, I don't want to spend hours in a section just to beat a single boss.
bitch, have you taken a look at the numbers you rack up on games you play to wind down? Thousands of hours on games like Call of Duty, FIFA, Valorant, Dota 2, League of Legends, Fortnite, Apex Legends, all to achieve mastery. More than half of the current games you call challenging can be mastered in significantly less time. The difference you feel is the adrenaline rush you get from that split-second kill or that goal in multiplayer games, and that fools a more casual audience into thinking,
Man, I don't want to fight a giant monkey for 2 hours, I can just kill one like this.
pattern recognition, problem solving, muscle memory. These are elements of mastery that feel a lot longer to achieve, but provide a far greater sense of accomplishment. At first glance, Sekiro looks like just another Dark Souls game, but what it does differently is it pins all the blame on the player for dying by forcing you to achieve mastery. Deflecting is a mechanic where you can't just spam L1, you have to time it according to the enemy's attacks, and once you realize that, the game becomes simple. Not easy, just simple. Sifu is a more recent game that follows the same element of mastery. Sean from the club level has gatekept so many players into rage quitting instead of figuring out that maybe it's time to dodge instead of parry. It's skill checks like these that ask the player to approach the game differently, not just pack it up and leave. If you want to become better at the game, you just have to give it the same treatment as you do with other games.
Okay, fine, it's my fault, but can I please have other options to approach certain games?
Other than a flat-out easy mode, a lot of games include perks, items, or skills to help make a situation relatively simpler. It doesn't take away from the experience, it just modifies it so you can still overcome the same obstacle from a different angle. Roguelikes let players permanently acquire abilities or weapons so that when they die, they come back stronger for subsequent runs. Cuphead has an ability that lets you focus more on dodging rather than attacking since he shoots humming projectiles, but the catch is, it does less damage. Celeste has an assist mode where you can have infinite dashes, but you still have to navigate some of the tighter levels without touching the walls. Monster Hunter games give you faster weapons, slower weapons, defense-heavy weapons, or ranged weapons so you can customize your playstyle a bit more. For all the shit Elden Ring gets from journalists and casual players, I think this is the most inclusive installment in a Souls game ever. If you decided you can't shoulder the skill issue in Sekiro, Elden Ring literally lets you over-level your character or just use spells flat out and make these boss fights a cakewalk if need be. I mean, look at my editor's gameplay in the latter stages. Huh? You still want an easy mode? That's still not enough? You're hell-bent on not spending any time learning a game's mechanics? You don't want to explore a game's options and you're a whiny little bitch who wants a developer to include you in a game?
Hell yeah, man, there must be a game out there for me.
Overwatch was the place to be in 2016. Everyone was having so much fun learning how various characters work. There were heroes for people who could aim, there were heroes for people who couldn't, there were heroes where a turret aimed for you, and there were heroes where you didn't even have to fight the enemy. The game was in a very good place because you didn't need fixed team compositions, just general teamwork and a good level of skill. Genji and Tracer are extremely high skill ceiling heroes. They require hours, days, and even months of mastery, so that in the hands of players who devote that time and dedication, the payoff looks like this. Now, what happens when you're a little too inclusive of a casual player's skill level? This stupid bitch. Let me explain. When Tracer has to kill a hero, it looks something like this. When Brig was newly released, this is how she could kill Tracer. She's got a personal fucking shield. She hits enemies to heal her team. Her ultimate made her as tanky as a fucking diva. This is a support hero. Blizzard fucked up the balance of the game so much. Jeff Kaplan left, Microsoft bought the company, and they had to spend 2 years balancing the game and are now calling it Overwatch 2. Jesus Christ. Basically, guys, what I'm trying to say with this video is delete Brig from Overwatch 2.